Craft conversations. Craft conversation.
Country number. Yeah, I'm a rolling stone. All alone and lost. And for a life of sin, I've paid the cost. When I pass by, all the people say, just another guy on the lost highway. Just a deck of cards and a jug of wine, and a woman's lies make a life like mine. The day we met, I went astray. I started rolling down that lost highway. I was just a
What's up, guys? What's happening over here, folks? Peeps? All the people in the world, raise your hands, dance. I don't know what the song is, but what we are drinking is a critical batch. You see that over there? Critical batch. It's a whiskey, a bourbon whiskey, a Texas bourbon whiskey, and we're going to talk about it, you know. Put a little bit in here, and what else we got over here? We got some Waterloo cherry limeade right here. I think you've seen it before. We're going to mix that with some of this critical batch right here. Yeah, that's what we're doing, guys. We'll go back over here. Cutie Pie's right here on the couch with me. She's chilling. Don't mind all this stuff over here. This is some finished laundry and some not so finished laundry that needs to go, you know, get in the bin over there or whatever. But we're gonna dial in over here. Is that good? I think that's good. We might move that just a little bit. I'm gonna turn this speaker off. We have some Tom Petty up there, The Lost Highway. I think that's originally a Hank Williams song, Hank Williams Sr. And that's what we're doing today. Took me a few minutes to get set up. Laptop wasn't charged. The speaker wasn't charged. I had to rearrange some lighting, do some different things. I didn't have my second camera, which is normally my other iPhone, you know, set up in a different angle. Didn't have that charged, so that is not in the mix whatsoever. But I figured, what the hell, you know, let's do a tiny show. I put up a couple teaser videos earlier today. Hey, cutie, what you doing? Stretching out over there, buddy? I'm stretching out. And this is the Arizona update video, I guess. What we're going to do is just talk about what we've been doing the last 22 days, I guess it is. You know, we left on June 3rd, and we started our venture kind of south and then west. We started off going through Richland, Georgia, and we stopped at a rum distillery there. Richland Rum, I think it's called. I was going to drink that tonight, but it's in the pantry over there. This whiskey goes pretty good with the cherry limeade, Waterloo, you know. Ooh, we got some storms still coming through. We'll talk about that. So yeah, let's just kind of recap what we've done so far, and then we'll kind of catch everybody up to now, and then we'll go into the future a little bit, I guess. Richland, Georgia. We hit the rum distillery there. We were the only people there. If you call Cutie Pie a person, if she's a people. We went in and we had had a rum tasting. We stayed the night over there. It's a Harvest Host location, by the way. I've talked about it before. Harvest Host is a great organization that you pay an annual fee. I am grandfathered in at $79 a year. I think the current asking is $99 a year. And what that gives you access to is like over 2,500 plus locations across the United States and also in Canada, which I found out. We're going to hopefully use a couple of those locations once we get up that direction, if we make it that far. But they give you access to breweries, wineries, distilleries, farms, museums. You can add golf courses on there. You can add Boondockers Welcome, which is where you can stay actually in people's backyards, side yards, front yards, houses, and they host you kind of like an Airbnb type thing. And they provide some power, some water, maybe a dinner, a conversation, what have you. Most of the locations that I partake in, those are extras. As a matter of fact, the golf course and the Boondockers are extra. What Cutie Pie and I partake in is the breweries, the wineries, the distilleries, an occasional farm. So that's what we're doing. We started off at the Richland Rum Distillery there in Richland, Georgia. We left there and we went to Fort Bayou Brewing Company out of, I think, Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And I say I think, I'm going to go through all these off of memory. I had some notes written down. I was going to transfer it to this computer, but the computer wasn't charged up, so I had to get that charged up with my little portable battery generator that I have over here, because none of my outlets work in the RV because I'm not hooked up to shore power. We do have a solar charger on top. I could hook up an inverter, but this particular RV did not come with an inverter already installed. So basically I've got a generator of sorts down here that has an inverter built into it where I can charge my laptop and charge all my accessories and those type things when I'm in a location like this where I don't have shore power. The generator will run stuff like my TV is a 12-volt TV. My fridge and freezer is 12-volt as well. My fans that I'm running and pulling air through the travel trailer right now, the outside air is also 12 volts. The fan within the bathroom is 12 volts. My water pump runs off of 12 volts, so I can run water through the trailer. I can take a shower. I can wash my hands, brush my teeth, do all that kind of stuff. Everything else kind of runs off of, if I needed my furnace, which I will not need, that runs off of propane. My 3-burner stove over here, which I'm going to spark up here shortly and do some burgers on it, runs off of propane as well. And then my on-demand water heater runs off of propane as well. But also you need 12 volt to kind of kick those processes in, right? The furnace, the water heater, all those things have an electronic starter on those things, so they need 12 volt to run. So all this kind of runs in conjunction with each other to provide an experience out here. So what was I saying to begin with? I don't even know, but so we went through, I guess what I was saying was all the Harvest Host locations do not have power for the most part. Some of them do offer that as an extra now, like $15 to hook up to some power and some water. So very inexpensive. But then when you add on the cost of maybe, purchasing some rum or some libations, some food, those type things, it almost can be more expensive sometimes than an RV spot. But you get what you're paying for. An RV spot, you're paying for a slab of concrete, a hookup, water, maybe a sewage connection, and there's not much doing. You got a bunch of fuddy-duddies there at the RV park. You got some fucking loud-ass dogs, some rude people sometimes. When you're staying at these Harvest Host locations, you're in there with other like-minded people that are trying to enjoy some of these off-the-beaten-path locations, enjoy a good whiskey, a good rum, a good beer, craft beer, a good fresh, locally grown grape wine, and most times good conversation. So we haven't even hit the tip of the iceberg yet. So we went from there to Fort Bayou Brewing Company. And man, I keep doing this. I haven't shaved today. I need to shave after this podcast because my beard is feeling really unpleasant at the moment. We stopped there in Mississippi. I've been there once before. We hit that place on the way back from the road trip in 2020 during COVID. 2021, when I was coming back to South Carolina to do the Mississippi River training and get prepped for that trip there in 2021. We left Fort Bayou Brewing Company. We went from there to Houston, Texas. All this during a heat wave that was coming through, so every place we went was hot as balls. We had to run our generator and run some AC. Haven't had to do that up here. We'll get to that. Equal Parts Brewing Company, we had done that once on the way out when we tried this trip back in January. We made that a stop along the way once again because it was a great location. Fantastic parking, great beer. Getting through the downtown area, not as much fun as I would like it to be, but simple enough, as it were. We left Equal Parts Brewing Company in Houston. We went up to Belvedere, what's the name of that town in Texas? Bulverde, Texas, I think is what it is. It's a place called, it's Chapline Distilling Company. And that's where this whiskey came from, Chapline. Bulverde, I believe is what it's called. Is it on here? Yeah, Bulverde, Texas. 78163 is the zip code. Mashed, distilled, and bottled by Chapline Distillery. This little whiskey right here. We left there, and pretty much from there on, we went farther than we did our initial trip back in January. So we passed Comfort, Texas, and we passed Junction. As a matter of fact, it was kind of weird because we actually, my GPS to get us to the next Harvest Host location actually got us off at the exact same exit that we got off after our wreck. And I drove my debilitated truck, my Nissan Frontier, up to Junction, Texas, and we got off at this same exit. Of course, back in January, we pulled off to the left and we stayed at a Best Western hotel over there while we were trying to get all of our affairs in order, trying to get the insurance all taken care of, get the truck and the trailer unpacked into a U-Haul, and try and make our way back to Summerville, South Carolina after that wreck. So that was kind of weird. And we went from there up to, where did we go from there? I think we went to Oswald Vineyard, a winery up in the northern plains of Texas. I can't remember the name of the town off the top of my head at the moment, but we stayed up there at the vineyard, the winery. We had a great conversation and a host and a tasting with John, the owner up there. He moved from somewhere outside of, I think it was Macon, Georgia, maybe, or somewhere outside of Atlanta. He and his wife were up there. He's a chemist, and I think she is a nurse, and they decided they wanted to, a few other things happened between then and there, but somehow they ended up in Texas, the northern plains of Texas, up there, northwest Texas, and ended up buying a plot of land and growing grapes. And now they have some cattle up there. They have some chickens. They got, fresh milk. They got eggs. They bake some things up there, cinnamon rolls, some bread. They produce about 8 different wines, I think, in their little small winery they have up there. And they distribute most of their grapes and wines throughout the entire state of Texas. They're one of the major growers there in Texas. And I can't for the life of me right now, off the top of my head, remember what the town was there. But we left there, and I think we went to Icebox Brewing Company, I believe, in somewhere around Hobbs, New Mexico. Again, hot as shit everywhere we went. We had to keep filling up on propane. Propane is $3.99 a gallon, pretty much all the way across the country. We started off getting some gas there in Mississippi and Louisiana at like $2.79 a gallon. Now we got into some of these places in North Texas and getting into Mexico, New Mexico. We started paying $335, $355. I think the most we paid so far is like $379 coming through, I don't know, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, somewhere around there. We started, we hit a high of $379 a gallon. We left Icebox Brewing Company. We went to, that might have been when we went to Wilcox, Arizona, and we hit Torillo Farms. And they have their own brewing company there. They produce their own wine there as well. They have a vineyard. They're a farm. They have fantastic food. Man, they got little pods. I'm not even sure what they were called now, but they're like little domes, I guess. Stays where you can glamp out there instead of staying in your camper. Actually, as a matter of fact, they said I was the first Harvest Host person they'd seen in quite a while because the temperature is just too hot for people to be staying out there in their RVs in the middle of a rock, kind of a parking lot there. So I said, well, I have a generator and I'm good to go. I can produce my own AC. So we stayed there for the night. Fantastic spot. If you haven't been to Torillo Farm in Wilcox, Arizona, I highly recommend it. I would maybe go in the fall. Would be a better option, maybe early spring. So it's not quite as hot, but their beer was fantastic. The wine was great. The food was good. The location is spot on, and had a good time there. At a great coffee shop in town the morning we left. We left Torillo Farm, and I think we went to Tucson, Arizona from there to a place called Catalina Brewing Company. It was on a Monday night. We had a great time there. Great parking spot right off the side of the building. A little bit of a shaded tree that we were underneath. It was still hot as shit. We had to run the generator there as well. Tucson, they had a live band there, a blues band called the something trio. I can't, again, I don't have my notes, but it was a blues trio. They had a Japanese transplant female bass player. The Brian something trio. I don't know. I'll put the name in the show notes for you. But fantastic, man. They had an egg roll food truck outside. That, oh my God, I tried 5 different egg rolls. Every one just as good as the next, better than the next. And I should have tried all of them. I was going to go back and get a second helping, make sure I got all the flavors, but I did not. The beer was pretty good, pretty decent. Nothing to write home about. Matter of fact, as a matter of fact, they didn't have any of their own beer on tap at that moment because they were transferring to a new brew system. So all they had was guest beers on tap, and most of the beers that they had on tap were from Torillo Farm and Wilcox, which I loved all their beers. So the beer was actually good. Left there. I was supposed to go to one more spot before we came up to Flagstaff, but I decided, you know what, I'm tired of this heat. So I came up to Flagstaff a day early on the 11th of June. I was supposed to was supposed to get here on the 12th and meet up with my brother. I had a campsite reserved at the Woody Mountain campground. I checked in early and actually backed into my oldest son's Airbnb's driveway, and I stayed there for the night. They didn't have any patrons that night because my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece were supposed to pull in a friend of theirs that next day on the 12th. So had the driveway to myself. I made a couple repairs to the RV while I was in the driveway. I had to tape some of the roof. That's another story. I ripped the utility rack off the top of the camper when I was at Chapline Distillery. Went underneath a low-hanging tree and ripped the utility rack off the top of the brand new trailer. Luckily, I didn't come in a little bit sharper, and I would have ripped my entire AC unit off the top of the trailer. So luckily, it was just the utility rack. Pulled all that hardware off the truck, off of the top of the camper that next morning. Put it in the back of the truck. I'll try and reinstall it later on down the road. Hit a Camping World there in Tucson and was able to buy some roofing tape and tape up the holes that were left from that debacle there at Chapline Distillery, and kind of got things resealed. Bought some silicone caulking as well, and caulked up a couple silicone places that needed to be repaired. Yeah, so we left Tucson. We went up to Flagstaff a day early. The next day, I got all checked into the Woody Mountain Campground. They got a great coffee shop there and a wine bar as well. Brother, sister, niece, friend came in. We immediately jumped into some activities. We had a pizza night there at my son's house. He has a pizza oven, so we did some homemade pizza with his homemade sourdough crust. The next day, we got up and went to Sedona and went to the Devil's Bridge. We hiked out there. I can't remember exactly how long the hike was. It was a couple miles out, a couple miles back. Hot as shit, full sun. But we made it. We got up there. We took some great pictures. We had a breakfast on the way in at one of my son's favorite breakfast spots. That was actually his birthday on the 13th of June that we did that. So hiked out there. We hiked back. We got in the car. We came back to Flagstaff. The girls took a break. They were kind of beat from the sun and some dehydration, I think, and then elevation, just the plane, the flight in, time change, all that kind of good stuff. So the guys, me, my son, and my brother, Bruce, we all got cleaned up and we went into town and had a little brew hop. Mother Road Brewing Company, historic, dark sky. I think that was it. Came back the next day. We got all decked back out, water, hiking clothes, all this kind of stuff, and we went to the south rim of the Grand Canyon. We did that pretty much all day. Had a fantastic time out there. It was still hot, but we had plenty of places where we could take a break, visitor centers. We could replenish water. So a little better day than the day before in Sedona. We had a little more amenities that we could take advantage of and had fun out there. Did a few more things with them while they were in town. They left out on the 17th, I think. On the 16th, I switched campgrounds. I went over to the Tuthill County Recreation Area. It is a subsidiary of Luke Air Force Base. Set up my camping over there. I had camping there from the 16th to the 24th, which was yesterday when I checked out of there. My younger son came in. Well, my brother and his wife and everybody else checked out of the Airbnb on the 17th, I believe, and went back to Phoenix. They flew out. And then on the 20th, I think my younger son flew into Phoenix, came up. They were supposed to surprise my older son, Brian, for his birthday on that Friday on the 21st. And somehow a few of us fucked that up. So I had mentioned it on the last podcast that my youngest son, Alec, was going to be coming up to surprise Brian for his birthday. And I mentioned during that podcast that it's still a secret because my sons do not listen to the podcast, so it was not going to be a big deal for me to mention that. He wasn't going to listen to it anyway and not going to know about it. Well, out of the 212 goddamn podcasts that I've done, and a few extra episodes here and there of different things, It's one of the like 2 or 3 podcasts that he's ever listened to in the entire history that I've done this fucking podcast since 2018. So in 6 years, that podcast happened to be one of the podcasts that he listened to and found out that my younger son was coming to surprise him. So I kind of was the first, I guess, to fuck up the surprise. And then a couple other people along the way fucked it up as well. So I wasn't the only one, so that was good, but I was the first one. I should have kept my mouth shut, but so the surprise was kind of a bummer, but we still played through with it and acted like we didn't know about it, and then told Alec afterwards that we that Brian did know about it. So and what else? We had a big beer festival. I'm not going to get fully into that. I'll kind of come back to that and do maybe a beer festival breakdown at another time. But we did a beer festival. It was actually right there at Fort Tuthill where we're staying. So I can walk, or I did walk the morning of the beer fest that Saturday, the 22nd. A few days ago, I walked from my campsite around to the VIP entry, which we had early entry there at noon. I walked 0.3 miles over to there. We had a great time, man. It was a little bit overcast, and it was fantastic. They had a DJ throwing some music down. They had all these different breweries from around town, from locally here in Flagstaff, and then also Phoenix and Tucson, California, Maui Brewing Company. So as far as away as Maui, Hawaii. We had some food. We had a VIP area. We got a free T-shirt. We got free food in the VIP area. What else? A little bit of everything. It had some rain come through. Brian's friends, Chandler and Alex, came up from Phoenix. W came up from Phoenix. He brought Alec with him, my youngest son. We had Bill and Ellen, Brian's in-laws, came up. Bill and Ellen's daughters, Megan and Amanda, were in attendance as well. The night before that Friday night, we had the official Brian Dale's junior birthday party with everybody in attendance that I just mentioned that were at the beer fest. And then, I picked up 2 days after the beer fest on Monday, yesterday, picked up and left that campground and came out here to Forest Road 171, which is about 15 miles outside of Flagstaff, actually in a place called Belmont, Arizona. And we're doing some dispersed camping out here now. So we're out here in a camp spot. We just picked one out of the vast amount of forest, back roads, places that you can camp. And we're sitting out here in a fantastic spot in the middle of nowhere in the Ponderosa Pine Forest, the largest one in the world, right outside of Flagstaff. So we're out here. I figured, what the hell, we're out here doing nothing. And Cutie got a bath today at a pet store, a pet wash station, grooming station. And I figured, what better time to do a podcast than right now? So we're doing a small one. This will be less than 45 minutes. From here, I haven't quite planned out a majority of the rest of the trip, but for the next few days. Hey, buddy. Oh, hey, buddy. What you doing? You woke up? You taking a look? Oh, you taking a look? Let's get you out here. Let's stand up. There's Cutie Pie. Hey, Cutie Pie, what you doing? What you doing over here? What you doing? You were taking a nap? Oh, you were taking a nap. Oh, you're so good. Oh, you're such a good girl. Oh, you're so good. You're so good. We're going to go from here over to... Oh, that's a little too... zoomed in too far. We're going to go from here, probably... could be tomorrow, could be Thursday, could be Friday. I'm not sure yet. We're taking advantage of the weather. It's still fantastic weather up here. There was a thunderstorm that came through last night and tonight, and that's fine. It's a little sketchy out here with the rain, but that's all right. I got 4-wheel drive and kind of an off-roadish type trailer. And we'll take off from here either tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, who knows, within the next 1 to 4 days probably. We're going to head into Kingman, Arizona. We got a harvest hose set up over there. Not set up yet because I don't know exactly what day I'm leaving. But as soon as I find out what day we're leaving, I'll do a same-day booking on the distillery. I can't remember the name of the distillery, but it's there in Kingman, Arizona. They do, I think, rum and whiskey there as well. We're going to stop, stay for the night. They apparently have some live music. They have some food. They have olive oil. They sell their own olive oil, vinegars, balsamic vinegars, I think some soap. I don't know. They do a bunch of different stuff over there. So we're going to stay there for the night and then possibly going into the national Lake Mead area right outside, kind of on the border of Arizona and Nevada. And I think it's free. Well, I don't think I get free entry there as a national park. I'll get free entry with my national park pass, my veterans pass. And then there's supposed to be some free dispersed camping there. So hopefully I can find a nice spot there. It's going to be hot as shit. We're going to have to run our generator, maybe stay a night or two. I would like to put the canoe in on Lake Mead if there's any water left in it. Stay there a night or two, and then from there go into Vegas proper and probably go to the Desert Eagle Fam Camp area there at Nellis Air Force Base. We're going to stay there for a little bit. I want to do some gambling at some of my favorite hangs on Fremont Street. I want to get some local beer. I want to get some good steak at one of these casinos for a good price. Sebastian Bach is supposed to be playing on July 20th. I don't know if I'll be staying in Vegas until July 20th, but that's a possibility. I might stay long enough to see Sebastian Bach. He's going to be for free on Fremont Street on one of the stages, stage 1, 2, or 3. I'm not sure which one, but I would like to stick around and see that. I'm probably going to try and see a couple vet ticket shows. Looks like there's mainly just some comedy shows and some tribute band type stuff going on. But we'll try and see if we can find some of that. And then from there, it's kind of up in the air. I definitely plan on going into California. And then the plan was to go up into Oregon, possibly go see a couple friends of mine up in Washington State, and then start traversing, back across the country, back to the east, across the top. And, we're talking Montana, we're talking North Dakota, South Dakota, we're talking Nebraska, we're talking Wyoming possibly. We're talking about maybe dipping up into Canada, into Alberta. We're talking about coming back down, maybe coming back across Minnesota, Wisconsin. A couple people we could possibly see there. Come back into Illinois and probably see my buddy Ryan and Michelle over there. Maybe come back down and mirror the Mississippi a little bit. Maybe put my boat in the water on the Mississippi again, the same one that I did, the Mississippi trip on, or in. Hey, why are you kicking me over here, man? You're kicking me. And who knows? I mean, it's wide open, as Tom Petty at the top of the show would say. Into the wide open, right? We're just kind of playing it by ear. Had no agenda. This was the only agenda, was to be here for my son's birthday and the beer fest. Everything else is up in the air. And I'll play it by ear and just kind of go where the wind takes me. We'll play it like a rolling stone. All right, we're 34, almost 35 minutes in. I think that's enough of an update. It was boring as fuck. Didn't really do anything exciting, but We're going to see if we can put it together with all the stuff that we have. And we'll do another update down the road. Rain's coming back through a little bit. Got a little drizzle coming on. We're going to enjoy the weather for a little bit longer before we dip down into the beast of the heat, in the bowl of Las Vegas. So, all right, love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, all the things, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers out there. Love you guys.